All right, this is my Instagram live. Here we go. Checking connection. I got my trusted monkey here with me. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm live. We'll see if anybody actually joins here today. What's up, Elite? Hey everybody. How's it going? How's it going? Hey T Sauce. Hey David. Hey Drew. Hey King of Capital. Hey guys. How's life? How's everyone doing? Figured I'd jump on here. Oh, Sean. Sorry to hear you're jobless. Hey, saludos, Elmer. What's up, Maddie? Hey, RJ. Hey, Raul. What's up, Colin? Hey, guys. Just building EBITDA bridges. Another day in the life. Another day living the dream. Do they still say that, guys? Living the dream? Do they still say that in banking? Is that still like an actual banking meme? Dude, this monkey's really uncomfortable. Oh, I'm gonna bring him down a little bit. There, that's better. Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody? Every day. CFA studying. Is that? Oh, that's coming up. That's coming up. That's right. I hope all you guys are hitting the books hard, not on this Instagram live. Level 2. What's with the monkey? Wall Street Oasis is all about monkeys. We love our monkeys. If you haven't collected any silver bananas, then you're just, I don't know what to say to you. I showed this last time. Yeah, go Pats. Showed this last time on my Instagram live. The silver banana goes to members on WSO that reached King Kong status. So if you ever aspire to get the best deal toy in the world, well, basically you gotta contribute. So just a little shout out there. Um, let's see what do we got here. Freshest deal toy. That's right. You can actually list it on the resume. I've heard that it actually is almost an automatic final round. Um, People actually, the funny part is our interns actually do mention that they work here at Wall Street Oasis, and that tends to get them a lot of first rounds, which is cool. If you guys are looking for an internship, if people still are scrambling for internships, we do have a few different programs that you guys can email Andy at wallstreetoasis.com, and he'll shoot you some more info on that if you can't get a real finance internship. Hey everybody, waving. Let's see, what do we got some here? We have any actual? Oh, so who's random globetrotters job hunting? What kind of jobs you want, random globetrotter? Please give me an internship. Dimitri, email Andy at wallstreetoasis.com. Hey everybody, I'm helping you procrastinate. You're welcome, Luella. Double through you says time for a WSO logo refresh. Hey, double through you, I'm happy. Shoot me, any ideas you have. We're never opposed to getting better. Let's see. How to get into venture capital. Get a PhD, Christian. Not easy. It's a very like niche, weird, esoteric industry. You gotta know a lot of people, network. You have to usually have a very niche expertise, something really in depth in a specific industry. Otherwise, it's really tough to break in. So usually you've either been a successful operator, like for example in biotech or in software, selling business, and then the VCs will actually look at you and bring you on. There are some VC funds that look at actually investment banking analysts as a um, potential source of talent, but it's pretty rare. What's up, everybody? When should we email Andy about internships? Basically yesterday. It's May 7th. You got to get on it, Raul. Come on. Just kidding, man. Yeah, just email him whenever you get a chance. Should you wear a monkey tie like that to the interview? I think it would show a lot of confidence, Andrew, if you walked into the interview room and actually were able to pull this off. It's actually a little uncomfortable, though. I mean, I got my beard, but this guy's like pretty hairy. Um, when will you do another Instagram AMA? I don't know, man. They're not the easiest things to get arranged, just because like we have the takeovers and everything. We'll try to get some more going because I think people do enjoy them. Um, we actually are doing a lot of stuff with AMAs on WSO, where we're going to be releasing a new type of podcast called AMAs on WSO, where we're going to be profiling a lot of our top members in the actual AMA on WSO. We're going to embed that podcast and kind of make sure people are you're getting a really good context about the different professionals that are on the site that can help you guys out. Given the current market conditions, should I A, short the VIX, B, long the XIV, or do both? No comment, Wento. I think we're more long overdue for a recession and or a pullback, and the latest trade talks and tweets haven't helped things. But what are you gonna do? How do I break into corporate strategy? I think Drake. This is coming from Drake Leonard. Corporate strategy, I think a great background for that is management consulting. You're doing a lot of strategy work. If you can break into one of the top, let's say 5 or 6 consulting firms and get into actual strategy work, that's a great foundation. Corporate strategy, there's also a lot of like different rotation programs where you'll get a little exposure to the strategy side in corporate finance. So if you go into what they call financial development programs or FLDPs at some of the large Fortune 500 companies, that they have pretty good training and have a pretty good that can give you a pretty good foundation for getting into corporate strategy long term. But yeah, better than all those is really the McKinsey, Bain, BCGs of the world to help you kind of get that foundation the first few years out of school. Jay has landed a reinsurance risk internship. Am I toast for banking? Yep, you're screwed, Jay, forever and ever. No, man, you're not. You're not screwed. It kind of depends. If your internship is junior year, yeah, it's gonna be really tough. But if you're networking, if you're in a good big city and you can keep kind of building out your network and your contacts, no, you're not toast for banking. Especially if you're willing to do something more regional, boutique, middle market, and you're able to demonstrate that through. You're able to demonstrate some skills through your interviews and actually know what bankers do. Breaking into prop trading. Hey Joseph Kennedy, break into prop trading. I assume you're asking how to break into prop trading. It depends on what prop trading shop you're talking about. A lot of them are very math heavy, so knowing your brain teasers and your math is going to be critical. You got to be able to do kind of quick math in your head, so they'll be like 35 times 63, and you gotta spit out the answer within a few seconds. Not always, but for a lot of them. Or you've demonstrated some sort of track record that you can audit and bring to them and show them that you have the chops for trading and you have some sort of edge that you can bring. A lot of these prop shops, you got to be careful though. They're more like the boiler room types where they just provide you a platform and you're bringing in. They like charge you to trade on their platform and you bring your own capital, and then they give you like a little bit, and a lot of people wash out there. But for the people who do well, that can be a way in. Let's see here. Banana a day keeps the back office away. That's true, man. You got to be on WSO. Collecting your silver bananas. Let's see here. Is .72 a good company? Wenta, I think .72 is still fairly well respected as obviously one of the largest and one of the top hedge funds out there in terms of like pure long short. I'm not that familiar with the hedge fund world, so I don't want to talk like I'm a complete expert, but yeah, .72 is very well respected, and it's still a good place to be in terms of comp, in terms of career progression, and most people that are in the industry are going to respect it. Let's see. I'm in a small Small firm in my home city, or try to break out in a top tier city. Well, Pierce, this is from Pierce. Pierce, if you have the option of being in a small firm in your home city or breaking into a top tier city and working in a small firm, I would always go to the top tier city where there's a lot more job opportunities. Um, Especially when you're young, it's the opportunities are you got it's very important that you're actually physically there so you can meet people and build those relationships. Let's see. From Raul, if you're finishing up junior year, go to a non-target, have no finance internship experience, but have a high GPA, is it too late to break into IB? Hey, Raul, if you go to a non-target and have no finance internship experience, that's kind of two strikes. The high GPA keeps your hopes, your slim chances alive, but it's really going to be more about have you built any relationships? Have you started talking to anybody right now? Because by now, it's a little late. You're going into you're finishing up your junior year. If you don't get, if you have for full-time recruiting, you're not going to get a lot of looks, if any. The only people who are going to give you any looks are maybe these small little regional boutiques. And if you're able to get some stuff on your resume, maybe this summer with us, maybe you can get some Wall Street Oasis on there. Maybe keep your GPA high and you start networking like a maniac all through the summer. Maybe you can land into a regional boutique, but other than that, it's going to be super tough. Tips and advice on how to start your first finance job on the right foot and really stand out. This is Christian from graduating college in 2 weeks. Christian, congrats. Your first finance job or any job right out of school, I think the real hard part is adjusting from the college life to the real world life. And I think the first thing is that there's no dumb questions, especially early on, but what you don't want to be doing is asking the same question, making the same mistakes over and over and over again. So being very good and diligent about taking notes when you're asking somebody a question and not going to them every second you have a question, see can you figure out, take some time to see if you can figure it out on your own first, so that you're not interrupting your associate or your VP, even worse, your VP. So if you're able to do that, then I think you'll be in good shape, because I think most people within the first month or two, they expect you to ask a lot of questions. So don't be so timid that you're afraid to like ask questions that you should be asking about, but don't be so kind of free for all where you're coming and interrupting them every 15 minutes, half hour. Try to really kind of group the questions, batch them so that you can run through 10, 15 questions right away. And really, really, really important, try to see the big picture. I know it's hard when you have a specific analysis that you got to get done and you're just focused on that analysis, but really try to step back at the end of the day. What did I do? How does that play into the overall picture? Because it's going to make you ask smarter questions and actually potentially add value down the road when you're 6 months in or whatever. Let's see what else here. Let's see. This is from Domo Winter. Do you recommend we take the entrepreneurial career paths more seriously? Loving the tie. Thanks. I love the tie too. So let's see here. Entrepreneurial career paths. There aren't, entrepreneurial career paths is kind of like a misnomer. It's like being an entrepreneur isn't really a career path. You can develop a lot of skills that are useful for careers down the road. For example, let's say you launch some sort of social media agency as an entrepreneur, and then it doesn't work out, but then all of a sudden you know a lot about social media and you're able to transition into a larger company that needs a social media manager. So you can develop skills, but I don't know what you mean by taking it more seriously. It just depends what your specific options are at any given junction. And I think the best thing you can do when you're young is look at a lot of options, try to figure out what you're passionate about, what you will excel in the most because you're passionate about it. Let's see. This is from FX Bankrupt. I've decided to go back to school mainly for IB. I'm starting a fresh 4 years. What type of advice would you give yourself 4 years in advance if you could? I would make sure to let you know that it's not about the education. It's about the connections. So I assume you're going back to school to try and get a reset, to try and get back into OCR and all that stuff, but that could all be thrown away if you think just getting high grades and putting your head down is going to get you into banking. It's not. You need to do more. Um, excuse me. So I'd make sure that you actually put in the work on the networking front and on the relationship building front, just as hard as you're making sure you're keeping your GPA up in it as well. So let's see. Best resources to learn to network. Wall Street Oasis. That's easy. We have a networking course. Email, cold calls, LinkedIn, all that stuff. There's a ton of free resources on WSO. We also have a paid course as well. Yeah, go Patriots, David. Woo! Love the draft. I'm really kind of depressed about my Celtics though after that beat down last night by Giannis and the Bucks. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of buddies in banking right now, and they managed to convince me to jump in with them. This is from FX Can. Awesome. If you have friends that are already there, they're convincing you to jump in with them. That's a huge advantage because you can really kind of pick their brains and figure out, how the recruiting cycle works, and specifically, you can even, when you're potentially interviewing with one of those people, they can get you in, get your resume pulled for an interview. So that's huge. That's a big advantage. Let's see. Raul said, in response to what you said, I have a phone call tomorrow with an assistant vice president in IB from Guggenheim. Good or bad? What do you think can come of it? Hey, Raul, I wouldn't have any expectations when you're having this call with the assistant vice president in IB. I would just basically try to ask intelligent questions, be genuinely curious about what they do day to day. What can come out of it? It could just be a nice conversation and phone call, or it could be something where they like you and they just say, "Hey, well, shoot me your resume. Maybe I can pass you on to HR and try to get you into a process." Although it's kind of an odd time right now. You're not going to get an internship this later. It's very rare for this summer. But it's something where maybe they have you on file. You kind of develop a relationship with this assistant vice president, and that's really the goal. It's like just so they know who you are, and keeping him updated every 3 to 4 months with an email, letting him know how the search is going, let him know what you're working on, to improve your skills. I think is a great kind of start. Let's see. Fannie and Freddie are trying to poach me. Should I give them some consideration? This is from Bird BA. I would, yeah, I'd give any firm some consideration, as long as it's not a complete bloodbath there. Yeah, I think why not? It depends what you're doing now. It depends what your options are going to be. So yeah, don't feel shy. Figure out what your options are. I never turn down options, guys. Never be afraid to see what else is out there. There's people far too often. People get like married to their job and they feel like, oh, if I lose this job, that's it. But we're in a really good time right now. So don't feel like you're locked in. Let's see here. Go Patriots. Yep. Oh, that's David. You already said that. Thoughts on the Masters in Finance. This is from Jay Wong. Jay Wong, I think the Masters in Finance can be a good tool for people who want to reset and get another shot at banking, although it's not an automatic entry to banking. And I think there's a lot of international students getting taken advantage of going into Masters in Finance thinking that that's their ticket. And yes, some do make it, but the hard part is a lot of these international students outside the U.S. are coming to get the Master in Finance with the expectation that it's going to lead to banking, and it often does not. And so I think it's important to look at the placement statistics, not just of the overall class, but ask the Masters in Finance places. If your goal is banking before going in, you really need to ask them the placement statistics of the international students, because it's much harder for those students to actually find a firm that is willing to sponsor them for a visa, and all the other jazz that goes along with that. Let's see here. How do I go from CMBS to CRE iBanking? This is a good question. All day, everywhere, Dave 100. That's a great question. I'm not sure how that transition would work. I don't know too much about commercial real estate banking, although we have a super active real estate finance forum on WSO. I think there would probably be some much more knowledgeable people on there that would be able to answer that question. Hey, Down to Finance, what's up? Do I need investment banking experience to get into PE? This is from Christian LX. I would say if you were talking 5, 10 years ago, yeah, it's pretty much almost a requirement. Nowadays, no, it's not, but it's still the well-worn path. It's going to be much, much harder to get into PE if you don't have IB experience. You're going to need, there are shops that actually like management consultants rather. So they'll pull from there. There are people who are able to go straight into private equity right out of undergrad, but those are some of the top students you'll ever see in the world. So if you're going to be going to some, I'm trying to think what other places you would be that wouldn't be IB that would get you into private equity. Now, people I think are putting a lot of weight into private equity. People are like putting private equity on such a huge pedestal because it's really interesting work. It pays really well, and oftentimes the hours can be better than banking, putting aside the mega funds. But I think it's important to realize that not all private equity funds are created equal. Private equity is not the holy grail for everybody. It's a great career if you enjoy transactional work, you enjoy analyzing companies, you enjoy trying to work with management teams and run a diligence process. There's a lot of other great careers out there. I feel like PE has become like it's just like IBPE. There's so many other paths that you can take: entrepreneurial, corporate development side, corporate finance side, that have a lot of other pros. It's almost like the pendulum has swung so far, kind of putting PE on such a high pedestal that IB, to me, I'm thinking, wow, these investment bankers must be so desperate to retain some of these analysts. I bet you could negotiate something incredible if you were a top analyst. Something like you're going to get promoted to associate by year 3, and then you're going to get promoted to VP within 2 years later. I mean, something where you could quickly ratchet up the ranks in IB if you were really talented. So definitely give that some thought too, because it's not always you shouldn't always just be following what the crowd does. You can sometimes get outsized returns when you kind of go against the grain. Let's see here. Back office at a well-known hedge fund, Millennium .72, or IB at a mid-tier bank. Oh, that's easy. This is from Mari KF24. I would definitely say IB at a mid-tier bank. I think back office, even if you're at a well-known hedge fund, having the skills that you're going to develop at the mid-tier bank, if you're actually doing front office work at the mid-tier bank, is going to be much more valuable to your career long term versus whittling away or dying a slow death in the back office, where you're probably gonna peak in your learning curve within 3, 4, 5 months. Whereas banking, well, somewhat of it. Banking, you also peak in your learning curve, but I think the learning curve is super steep, especially if you don't have that traditional finance background. Let's see what else we got here. Thoughts on, I think you meant to say physician commodity trading. I think you meant physical commodity trading. What are the exit ops? Really, I have no clue. Don't know much about commodity trading. Let's see here. Hope the monkey's not freaking you guys out. Wow, there's a lot of questions now. Patrick is kind of jacked. Really, I'm not, Justin. I'm skin and bones. Let's see here. Adequate time to get started on the MBA after grad with B's. Hey, Christian. It depends on where you are in your trajectory of your career. If you feel like the MBA is a good time to like get the reset, usually 2 to 5 years is kind of the standard. 2 to 4 years. I think it's important to try to get the GMAT out of the way first because it lasts for I think 5 years and it's a pain in the ass. It takes a lot. It's definitely a beatable exam, but you got to put in the time to drill in order to get a whatever high 600s, low 700 plus. At least for me, it took me some hours to actually get the 700 plus, which you basically need to get into one of the top schools. This is RXHL. Goldman versus Google, which offer to take? Can you give me more info? That's super vague. Goldman and Google have a lot of different divisions, and I don't know what you'd be doing. Product manager at Google, IB front office at Goldman. Really kind of depends. I don't know. Are the offers equivalent financially? Is Google in California? You want to be in Cali? or do you want to be in New York? It's super different. So tough for me to give you an answer there. Anyways, a few more guys, and then I'm gonna call it. But thanks for being here. Let's see. Here we go. From Gabrielle Carajao. Thoughts on CPAs with a Big Four background? Is it too much of a stigma when it comes to investment banking, private equity, MBB? I would say, as a general rule, CPAs with the Big Four background, yeah, you're going to have a harder time. I think investment banks are probably getting much more open to that because they're losing so many of their analysts and associates to private equity and tech and other roles. There's just been this the attrition has gone up so much higher over the last 15, 20 years. It's gone something like the average analyst tenure has gone from 2.5 or 3 years down to like 1.5 years. So I think if you can present yourself as knowledgeable and passionate about investment banking, even if you're from a Big Four background with a CPA, I think you're definitely going to get some looks, especially if you show any sort of track record of actually having success at the Big Four, for sure. And especially if you're at the Big Four in the right group, like transaction advisory services, for example. Let's see what else we got here. Down to Finance says, Patrick, tell us about your MBA experience at Wharton. White party stories, beach week stories, a lot of stories, man. Can't tell them on Instagram Live. I'll get in trouble. My Cinco de Mayo was actually great. Hung up with some friends here with their kids and my kids. I got 3 kids under 4 years old, so it's been a trying time, but surviving. Anyways, thanks so much everybody for joining. I'm gonna head out, and I'll try to do this again next week. I think this is a pretty good time, about 7 o'clock Eastern every Tuesday, or every other Tuesday. I'll try to keep it up. All right, guys, peace.